Hey everyone, welcome back to our study called I Will. We're looking at Genesis 17, and today we're just kind of wrapping up this first section of Genesis chapter 17. Next week we'll go on and look at a little bit more, and then the following week we'll finally finish this section off. But it's a great chapter, a lot of stuff going on in here, so it kind of made sense to kind of break this down a little bit more here. So let's wrap up what we talked about so far this week. What we've looked at in this text is only really the first section of this appearance of God to Abraham. There's a lot more to come, so make sure you look at the other ones. Now let's go back. Let's think about these things for a minute. Okay, we got just a few minutes here, and just kind of contemplate what we've studied so far. And I want to go back to James Smith. I was using him a lot in this one. He had a lot to say about this, and he really directs us to see what God requires of us. So here's what he said. He says, God requires of us that you walk before him as always beneath his eye, in his presence, and under his gracious protection. So that's what James Smith says. He's saying that we need to remember that we're always in the presence of God. Now, it could be a good presence, or he could remove his gracious presence, and then we're in trouble. But if we're in his gracious presence, we're following him, we're doing what we need to be doing, then we're under his protection, we're under his care, we're under his love. And that's where we want to be. That's what we so walk before God, remembering that his eye is always on you. You know, he is always watching you. He doesn't miss a thing. He's always known everything. You know, if God's knowledge is omniscient, it means he knows everything you're going to do. He knows all your thoughts. So we need to walk in that window. We need to try to live in the sense that God is always knowing what we're doing. He's always known what we're doing. And so that should help us to stop us, to help stop us from doing things we ought not to be doing, and to be doing the things that we ought to be doing, because we know that God knows. So we live in that way. We don't pretend that God doesn't know. And everyone knows that. Everyone has that conception that what they're doing, if they're doing wrong, is wrong and it deserves to be punished. That's what Paul says, that everyone knows that. Everyone knows that the sins that they do deserve to be punished with death. But we pretend that it's not the case. And we spend a lot of time pretending that the truth is not right in our faces. So we do that. Now let's go back to James Smith. And he says that also that you need to be, that you're required to be, that you should be, that you be sincere. Here's what he says, that you be sincere, open, and upright. Be just what you profess to be. Be an honest man, if you're not a faultless man. Your God hates deception. He abhors trickery. He will punish hypocrisy. Let your life be the faithful index of your heart. Say just what you mean. Do what you say. Hate the appearance of a lie in all the shapes it wears. And how do we do this? By the power of El Shaddai, the all-sufficient one. So, the question for us to kind of finish off this whole study, we need to think about these last two questions. Ready? First of all, is God all-sufficient for you? Do you think of God that way? Is he all you really need? Is he sufficient? Is that all you need? Do you need anything else besides God? Do you need money? Do you need family? Do you need, what do you need besides God? If that's the case, then you need to let go of those things. You need to make God all sufficient for you. Remember, he is. He is all sufficient. He doesn't need us. We need him. And he is what makes us complete. Not other people, not other things, just him. So remember that this week. As you remember, as you're going through things, as you remember the story of Abraham, remember, God is trying to show him, you don't need anything else. Just follow me. Listen to me. Listen to my promises. Remember my covenant with you. That's all you need. You don't need to try to do things you're on your own. You just need to follow me. Walk before me. Do what I told you to do. Listen, trust, and obey. That's it. So that's what we need to do too. Listen, trust, and obey. How do we listen to God? It's God's word. Don't be listening to all these other kind of weirdo stuff. Don't be trying to, try to do some divination. Oh, I don't know. what's God's will for my life? I need to do this. Don't be putting out your fleece. Don't be doing that kind of stuff. Listen to God's word. He wrote it down for you so you didn't have to guess. So many people are trying to guess what God's word is today. It's stupid. Like, he wrote it down so you wouldn't have to guess. Okay? There you go. Makes sense to me, but I don't know why people have a hard time with that. But anyway, listen to God's word. He wrote it down. Read it. Get to know it. Study it. And then live it out. Now, you're going to fail. That's for sure. All of us do. But God is gracious, merciful. He will forgive. Forgave Abraham, right? Abraham did some stupid stuff, but he forgave Abraham. Abraham was a friend of God. And you can be one too.